And for more, we take you back out to the site where the lead analyst of the NFL on CBS joins us now, Tony Romo. I want to go defense first here on the Broncos because they jump off the screen at you, whether it be the personnel, the execution. But is there something you're seeing right now with that defense that maybe we don't pick up at first glance? What do they do that makes them so special?
Well, I think the biggest thing is their ability to pass rush, the combination. It's almost like complementary football. So the defensive backs understand there's a time clock in their brains, so they don't have to cover a second move more than 3 steps. They don't have, so it's really well done. And they have a pressure package that's really high, but it's the front right now, and Bonito is playing at such a high level. And if one guy gets around the quarterback right away, everyone is a better player. And then from there, I feel like Vance Joseph does a really good job of disguising the defense. And that makes it where your eyes start in the wrong spot as a quarterback. You start here, oh shoot, it wasn't what I thought. And then you come back here, it's too late. And that's why they're on a historic rate right now for sacks.
They get this one done without Surtain in the second half, hoping for a speedy recovery there for their star defensive back. Tony, offensively here for Denver, Bo Nix started this season slower than maybe we expected after that rookie campaign. Are you seeing them get back to some of those year-one looks that has bred this success over this last month or so?
Yeah, today was a little different in some ways. The Cowboys are banged up in the secondary. They ended up figuring out, in that second quarter of where to attack. And other than Bo Nix's big mistake early, which really made them have one of their worst starts, even though they've kind of been a slow starting team, they came back on fire the rest of the half. And there's so much of that is the defense getting stops and everything. But I felt like Sean Payton's ability to get an 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back was the real difference maker here, because that made Dallas have to bring in all the backup secondary people. And once you put a lot of people on the field who have not played a lot, now you gain the advantages. That was the difference.
Tony, we saw some tape late in this one of a shootout in 2013. Broncos 51, Dallas 48. Romo 5 touchdowns I got him down for in that one. But it was a day when the defense struggled for you in Dallas, not the only day that season. What does that do to a locker room, that experience of one side's going, the other isn't? We've seen that throughout this year for Dallas, maybe not specific to today's experience, but can that cause a schism in a locker room?
Not if you have the right head coach and the right people that you drafted. I think that Dallas has done a really good job of drafting the right kind of guys, and then I think Shoddy has a really good pulse for that. Today was obviously, they underperformed from what their standard is, but they went against a really good ball club. But you still expected them to make this a tighter game. I think they got to get a little bit better on the road as far as their communication. Way too many pre-snap penalties, little things that can really affect the game, and I felt like that played out that way today. And once the team kind of gets going at home, they can run away from you when you get one-dimensional, especially against a team who can rush the passer the way they did.
High scoring at high altitude. Tony Romo, always appreciative of your time. They're from Denver.
Thank you.
Our team always bringing you the best in that most watched window. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and Tracy Wolfson. Dallas here falling short against the Denver Broncos. It's a defense that's got to get stout, and the answers need to come soon.
Well, congratulations after last week's come-from-behind victory. Everything coming into this game was starting fast. You did that. What was the biggest difference?
Well, I think just we caught a good rhythm early, and then the second drive of the game, we scored a touchdown, and we felt good about our plan. We did a good job of bouncing back on some second and third and longs. We got first downs, extended drives, and then our defense played great all day, continued to get us the ball back, and we just had a good rhythm of the game. Thought we all played really well. The guys that didn't necessarily come into the game playing with a lot of numbers, a lot of minutes, they showed up and played really big today. So it was good to see the depth we had.
No doubt your young guys certainly stepped up, but we saw you against Philadelphia when you won. This too, is this a statement game for you guys?
Yeah, it's just the next one. I think it's a really good win. It was a really good opponent, a tough team to play. And, I think we're just playing really good football right now. We finally pieced a full game today. It feels like it's been a while since we did that, but it was good to see the guys step up, play good, play with great urgency, especially at the beginning, and, finish the game strong.
Go enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Win number 16 with that man is Bo Nix. Matches John Elway for the most wins through 25 career starts in Broncos franchise history. Broncos country riding. Back in studio with the guys, and a word that came to mind in listening to Bo Nix there is expectation. When you have a young quarterback, it's about changing and furthering the expectation. This feels like, Mac, a team that expects to play the way they did today.
Yes, this is a dominant team. When you look at Bo Nix's rookie campaign, being able to get into the playoff, playing inspired football in that playoff loss against Josh Allen, Bo Nix did some pretty good things. We felt like this would be a team that would contend for another playoff spot. Well, they got off to a rocky start in terms of the consistency. And I think what we saw last week against the Giants, I'm still trying to figure out how you allowed 33 points in the fourth quarter alone anyway, but another topic of discussion. I think that jump-started something for Bo Nix. He played against a defense that were dealing with injuries in the back end. They exploited those injuries. The running game came to life. We talked about J.K. Dobbins. He's been a great addition, but now R.J. Harvey is being utilized more so in their offense. We know the speed that he has. So now with Sean Payton figuring out these new resources he has to go along with his pass catcher, we can't forget about Pat Bryant as well. The rookie wide receiver is showing up big. The talent is there. Now it's about continuing to develop and create more rhythm, and that's what we're seeing for Bo Nix. I think they have a legit chance, staying healthy, to be a playoff caliber team.
Can I throw just a touch of cold water on this? Huge win for the Denver Broncos.
Why would you want to do that?
Because it's who I am. The same conversation that we have about the Indianapolis Colts and whether they're real or not, should we be having about the Denver Broncos? Okay? Because think about, yes, they did beat the Philadelphia Eagles, right? But have we seen enough from the Denver Broncos, who struggled early against the Tennessee Titans, right? They lose to the Colts. They lost to the Chargers. They beat Jake Browning's Bengals. Yes, a big Eagles win. Barely beat the Jets overseas. 33 points against the Giants, we see right here. And now...
This is a kingmaker defense, the Cowboys defense.
And we understand that the Denver Broncos defense is very good. We also understand the Indianapolis Colts offense is very good. But we keep having this conversation about Indianapolis. And I don't think, Pat, B-Mac, that we're asking this same question about the Denver Broncos.
Okay, you know why we're not asking the same question? This is my personal answer, Pat. You can let us know how you feel. We saw Denver do it last year.
Okay.
And we know their defense is one of the tops in the league, especially when it comes to putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, whoever the quarterback is. So we've seen them do it last year.
Yep. Proof of
so
concept.
Because of what they did last year and now the consistency and what they're showing right now, I think you have less questions for a team that has done it than a team that hasn't done it in terms of the Indianapolis Colts. That would be my answer.
Yeah, I believe going into year two, with the team that, the Denver Broncos have with Sean Payton and the defense that they're playing with, and they did it last year, it's hard to put them in the same boat as an Indianapolis Colts just because of what they did last year.
That's
and
fair.
they're still finding ways to not only win games, they're coming back in these games. Like 33 points in the fourth quarter is unheard of.
Right.
Coming back against the defending champs at their place, that shouldn't happen, but they did it, and they was able to have some of the same success last year.
So we're seeing some of those moments that really grow that belief, internal and external now for the Denver Broncos. Pat, I want to come back to you here. We heard Tony Romo talking about the marriage between the rush and what you're doing in the back end. This defense, it's like watching an orchestra play. Like Everything just sounds good together right now. Where do your eyes go when you look at that defense?
Up front, the guys up front, and they're playing complementary football. When you have an opportunity to match the rush and coverage together, you get a number 2 defense in the league, and that's what the Denver Broncos are right now. And I had an opportunity to play with Vance Joseph. He was a former quarterback, so he knows how to confuse quarterbacks with disguising defenses, with coverages and things like that. So they got a great play call on their hands in Denver.
How does that relationship, Mac, change, if at all, if you're down for any amount of time, your star defensive back in Pat Surtain?
It would change in terms of the impact he has on a football game as an individual. When you have Pat Surtain in the lineup, Pat Surtain Jr., if you're playing against an elite light wide receiver opposite, he's going to follow that guy. So now you don't have to worry about the extra attention you need to devote to that high-level wide receiver on the opposing offense because you got Pat worrying about him. So now if I'm a deep safety, I know Pat might be going against a Jamar Chase or whoever the case is. I don't have to necessarily lean over there because I know he can hold his own. Now I can kind of show some concepts and help the opposing defenders in our secondary. But we have to wait and see. But also to Pat's point, their front is so outstanding because of they're like a hockey team. The line change. When they bring in a different line, they don't lose any production. Fresh legs, and they go hunt because of the depth that Vance has at his disposal in terms of seeing that line change come in and out, and you still know you're going to get high-level production.
It's all in the context of buyers and sellers over these next handful of days, JJ. For that, I always turn to you. What is the need for this Denver team, or have you heard at all interest in bolstering an already talented roster?
So one of the things, and this is me a little bit on a soapbox, that because they had such success today, one may say, well, why do they need to go get a wide receiver? Why do they need to add a tight end? Look at what they just did against the Dallas Cowboys. It was against this Dallas Cowboys defense. And if you do have those aspirations of getting back to playing January football and getting past where you were last year and continuing to build on it, perhaps you look at a wide receiver position where you have Cortland Sutton going into age 30. You don't really have that other guy there. You have Bo Nix, who's still on his rookie contract and will continue to be. Maybe you look at tight end. But pass catcher is a place that I think the Denver Broncos are certainly going to be looking at. Folks around the league believe it'll be at wide receiver. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys are a team that I know that Jerry Jones loves talking about how they could be buyers. Does this look like a team that should be buying at the trade deadline to you guys? No. Does this look like a team that actually needs to be giving up future draft capital? Because they draft well. We absolutely have to give credit to the Dallas Cowboys. They draft well. Should they be giving up capital to try to win this year?
Well,
no.
Hold on just a second. Now, hold on just a second.
You're trying to apply rationale to a place where it's often a little bit more emotional than that.
They're 3-4-1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Before today's loss, they were, they were 3-3-1.
Yeah.
If they can go get a defender, not necessarily saying in the secondary, but maybe a guy that can put pressure on the quarterback with their offense.
You're saying an edge rusher, and you're acting like this defense is one player away, and you know better than that. You know that they are not.
They're not one player away.
Well, how many guys are they going to trade for?
But when their offense is playing at a high clip, because they won't play Denver every week, right? Every defense in the National Football League is not as good as the Denver Broncos. But when their offense is playing at a high clip, all they need to get is 4 stops a game. So if you can go get you an edge rusher, a Jermaine Johnson, an edge rusher makes everyone better. When you look at some of the best defenses in the National Football League, they got a dominant guy, right? Nick Bonito with the Denver Broncos. He's their dominant guy. Everyone else follows suit. If you can go get you a lead singer that can take songs and make them become platinum, now it makes everybody in the group look better.
There's no
I can
arguing.
be Tito. I can be Jermaine.
There's no arguing
get you a Michael.
that a star edge is going to make life easier for any team. But I want to get into where Dallas maybe was exposed today. Yeah, it's a great rush group, but we thought this was going to be good on good, the rush group against this Dallas offense. Where were they maybe exposed in some weaknesses here today?
The pass rush of the Denver Broncos. They got to Dak Prescott often, early, and forced him into some bad throws. As we saw in the game, he was flushed out of the pocket an awful lot and not really throwing the ball with his feet up under him, and that's what caused some of those balls to sail on.
Mac, is that a today problem, or is that something that you think, because you're going to see some star edge rushers over the stretch run of this season that you're going to have to deal with, and if you want to stay alive and be the offense that scores 45 because your defense is less than, you're going to have to be able to do that.
I think it was more of a today problem because of the challenges the Broncos present when you play against them, especially if you're not used to playing against them. Like I said, the line change, the depth, the athleticism. And even though Pat Surtain Jr. didn't play the entire ball game, you still have to account for where number 2 is. And to Pat's point, because of the rush, Dak could never get comfortable. We saw 88 yards, 19 of 31 and 2 interceptions. He wasn't seeing the football field well, and the game plan I didn't like the game plan. I feel like when you have CeeDee Lamb, when you have George Pickens, we know Pat Surtain is going to follow one of those guys. So the other guy needs to be highlighted often in the game plan. And then when he went out of the ball game, now I'm telling George Pickens, you lining up wide by yourself and you do damage. You know they're bringing pressure. Oftentimes when they bring pressure, is one-on-one situations out on the perimeter. I'm not targeting Robert Turbin. He was a pretty good player, but when you look at the other options, I'm targeting the guys who are high-level players, 5-star players that try to get back to the game. I didn't like the game plan offensively for the Cowboys.
Do what you do well and do it often. It's exactly what the Denver Broncos have done here recently. A look at the road ahead for the Dallas Cowboys. Got a primetime spot and an extra day in Week 9. A little bit of a win-loss with a tie thrown in between. We'll see if they can.
The next 2 games, they got to win, JJ.
Back into that win column. Very winnable football game. Likely to be favored.
They got to win.
At home against the Cardinals.
They got it. That's what I'm saying. They
can't
should be
lose the bye. It's a bye week, not an off week. Got to get something done.
Fans.
Back-to-back Monday Night Football games when in action.